Dean, the timing of your lives in the morning, I was expecting something a bit more cataclysmic than what they actually said. They said, Dean, the timings of your live in the morning actually sits perfectly with me because I sit down and have a brew. Well, they didn't say brew. They sit down and I'm there. So for some of you, I'm your morning digest when you're having a brew and getting ready to face the day. But for others, I might be waking you up. So good morning, everybody. I hope you're all here. I'm going to just check all the streams are working and hopefully some of you guys will show up and appear. I don't know about you, but I'm really enjoying doing these lives, actually. You might not, but I'm enjoying them. Why? Because I get to talk to people. People get to see me a little bit more, but I get to think about stuff. Good morning, Bhavana. And I really want to kind of come at it. I put it there. Clients are from Mars and we're from Venus. And I know that's a play on the famous book about men are from Mars and women are from Venus. But actually, this is a piece of advice I got many years ago. I've shared about this on TikTok and Instagram this morning as well, is there is a disconnect. There is a disconnect between the way I see the world and the way I and my clients see the world. There is a disconnect between the way you see the world and your clients see the world. And many of us miss this. And as I look through LinkedIn and predominantly LinkedIn and Facebook, when I look through them, I see a lot of people missing that there is fundamentally a disconnect between our two perspectives. In other words, and I've said this before, morning, Emmanuel, I've conquered the mountain. I have achieved the result that my clients have yet to achieve. So fundamentally, I see the world differently than they do. I know where the real challenges are, and they know where they feel the real challenges are. And I was talking to a good friend of mine now. We have some banter on LinkedIn, Mike Howarth, and he shared a post this week about he'd helped a client achieve amazing results, and he was saying how the biggest challenge is to get that clients or to get a clients to admit that they or to themselves this problem needs to be solved and we're not the one to solve it on our own. This is such a common thing. And I've had some people say to me, Dean, how do I help a client when they don't see that they have a problem? And I'm very polite when I answer it. I'm always polite, but generally what my thought process is, no, you don't understand the problem. And this is, think about this. If you know that your client needs what you sell, but they don't see that need, you don't understand the problem. Why? Because, or you don't understand the problem well enough. Because let's say, for an example, I'm helping small business owners. At any given time, there will be a percentage of people who will have that need. And they'll be looking for the solution. There will be a percentage looking for the answer. There'll be a vast majority who aren't looking for the answer, or as I call it, are living with a limp. They're living with the problem. And they don't know or can't see that there's an alternative. And your job is to latch on to what they're seeing and help bust those myths. Let's say, for an example, if I'm selling Coca-Cola and I know my Coca-Cola will solve this problem over here. People don't want Coca-Cola. They just want the problem solved. So whatever the situation, I talk about this as however the problem is manifesting in the customer's world. Now, manifesting, I don't mean and all that stuff. I mean, if there's a problem in a business, if there's a problem a customer's experiencing, there's the real problem. Yeah, the real problem, right? So if we talk about health and fitness, and I have no room to talk on that because I'm the most sporadic at that. I'll go from one thing to another. I'm terrible. I'm going to be bombarded with fitness coaches now. I can see it. Um, the client will have a motivation. The client will have a reason why they're doing what they're doing. They're snacking, they're eating 12 packets of discos and all that kind of stuff. They'll have a motive, something that's driving them to that. They will also have a reason why they want to change. And you know that actually, just common sense stuff will solve it. The common sense stuff will solve it. So why is it that so many people struggle with the common sense stuff? Why is it so many people, right? They struggle with the common sense stuff. So there is value in helping people solve and get the common sense stuff into their lives. Think about that. Yeah. There is a disconnect between. So if I started talking about to people who've clearly got, comfort eating and all that kind of stuff, and they can't get to that common sense approach of exercise and calorie controlled diet. If they can't do that, then okay, that's no big deal on them. But there is an issue there that the value is in solving that problem. But if we start talking about excessive fitness regimes and all that kind of stuff that we know, they'll just go, I can't do that. So there's often a massive disconnect between your perspective on the problems and your client's reality, where they are. And when I look through LinkedIn and I scroll through LinkedIn and I see all this stuff on LinkedIn, I see lots of people talking to clients or potential clients as if they are the expert. Yeah. So, say for an example, I'm stuck on something. I see content on LinkedIn and so other places, and it's literally telling people the things that experts know. It's like the doctors, basically. Think about it like the doctor. The doctor tells you, oh, you got a tummy ache. Oh, it sounds like you've got a bit of an infection. They dumb it down, right? They dumb it down. It's real basic and simple. It's dumbed down. So, oh, you got a tummy ache. The doctors don't talk to you like, oh, you've got myocardial infarction and something on your tibia, blah, 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 blah. They don't talk in doctor language. They don't talk in medical knowledge. They dumb it down for the patient because the patient has not done 7 years in medical school. The patient is seeing this problem once. The doctor sees this all the time. This is just common sense stuff. But actually, as we highlighted in the previous story, common sense is not as easy to implement as you might think. Stuff that you think is straightforward to other people who are non-experts is tricky. And this is the reality we live in. And if you don't get this, you'll be constantly talking over people's heads. They won't get it. They'll see you're a nice person. They'll see you're a good company, but they won't see why they need you because you're talking over their heads. This is especially true on social media for a couple of reasons. No, number one, nobody's in buying mode on social media, right? Nobody is in buying mode. They might be thinking about buying something in the back of their mind, but it's not, they don't come to, oh, I'll go to social media because I need to buy this. They're on there trying to distract themselves. I mean, we talk about it as all sorts of things, but effectively it's a distraction. It's a channel for distraction. And yes, there's some good stuff on there. There's some people you can network with, but fundamentally it's a distraction. So when they're on there, they're looking to be distracted. And when somebody gets drawn in, good morning, Amit. When somebody gets drawn in and engage with your content, they're not looking for heavy duty stuff. The amount of people I've spoke to, and they've said, oh, I've saved loads of things from social media to read again. Great. Did you ever read them? No. Yeah, we just don't. Yeah, I know that sounds really cynical, but we don't. So you've got to land messages in a really concise, easy to understand. I want to say like TV commercials, but some people will misinterpret that to mean promote, 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 promote. The best TV commercials, if you think about it, actually, most people think that businesses are there to promote, 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 promote. If you look at a television channel, and I've been involved in the senior leadership and running of a television channel across two in the US and the UK. When you look at a television channel, they make tons and tons of programs, yeah, and content to sandwich in fractions of time for adverts. They make all their money in the gaps. All their money in the gaps. Yeah? Think about it. All the money is made in the gaps. So when you think about that, when you're doing social media content, the money's made in the gaps, right? But it's the program, it's the main content that gives you those eyeballs to make the money in the gaps. So if the program's entertaining, if the program's engaging, if the program's interesting, if it's exciting, if it's got all of those things in it, you make money in the gaps. So what are the gaps? The gaps are when you do promote. The gaps are when you do invite people to come and do a discovery call with you. But the content is the reason why people are making billions. So our terrestrial channels here and our satellites and our Freeview channels, they're all making money in the gaps. Social media is just another form of TV channel. It might not be video, it might be written posts, it could be anything, but think it's no different. It's no different. You're a media personality, yeah, and you have a channel. You have channels. You put content on them. And if the content's interesting, engaging, entertaining, all of that stuff, people will find it eventually. Yeah, people are too busy trying to find and attract the audience without producing the content. Produce the content. If it's valuable, you can make money in the gaps. It's that simple. That's what's happening across the world. Yeah. Now, I'm not talking about you becoming a social media influencer because, to be honest with you, it costs you a fortune to get there. You have to do a lot of work, invest in a lot of stuff like you would if you were doing a Hollywood blockbuster to get there. But there is this space you can occupy where you're like a Freeview channel. Yeah, to use an example, a free-to-air channel. It might not have millions of viewers, but as you've probably seen with the invention of some of the new news channels, they can make a lot of money and good money and have a sustainable business model with tens of thousands of audience. Yeah, because it's not about the numbers, it's about how you can monetize those numbers. And in our case, we're a television channel, you're a television channel with your social media channels. And you have gaps that you can fill in where you happen to sell your marketing services, your social media management, your copywriting, your consulting, your coaching, your accountancy, your lawyers, your technical widgets. That's how you need to think. We are a media production company that makes money by selling widgets, coaching. That's the way the world is these days. It's not like the old days where you just sell things. Now we are media, the human beings are media consumers, and your role in this is to effectively become a channel of consumption. So you don't want to create, and this is really important, the audience that buys in the gaps, yeah, for the adverts that you're going to put in the adverts, the promotions, the products you're going to sell, the services you're going to sell through your content. The content you produce has to tie in to pull in the audience that will buy in the commercials. So in television world, what they do is they create a TV series. It has a genre, a target audience, and all of that stuff. And then they produce that, they promote that, the people come in and they get them in the adverts. That's how it works. Now, we can talk about syndication, which is pretty much what the influencers do. Effectively, the more that's viewed, the more money they make. But in the simplest form, you are a television channel. You've got advertising you want to do. Okay, who's going to buy from that advertising? Is it business owners? Is it CTOs? Is it CEOs? Is it stock market listed companies? Is it small businesses? Who are those people? Right. What's the content, the TV programs we need to be making that draw them in, give them insight, interest, and help set up the sale, the advert? And that's how you need to think about social media. So, and here's the beauty of it. It was that you had to do it a particular way. Now, there are some things, some general rules you should follow, but more and more people are saying, well, live works, podcasts work, long YouTube videos, short YouTube videos, pretty much. Good morning, Shine, from Uganda. Pretty much most methods work if the content's interesting, engaging, entertaining, all of that stuff. So when you think about it like that, it kind of changes the way it works. So you're looking at Mars. What's the audience interested? Who, my customers, what's going on in their world? What's their challenges? How can I make content that will engage and inform and educate those people so that in those gaps, they can see my product, my service will help them fix that. That's it. Yeah. Everybody's a TV channel. Just think like that. Or in fact, you are the main star of your TV channels because you've got Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, all of those. You are the star. Now, don't get all ego driven. I'm just saying the reality is that's how it works. And when you accept that, when you start to get the vibe of that, you realize, oh, this is how it works. I'm a TV star. I've got however many channels that I'm working on. I'd always encourage you to start with one, get one right, and then move on or expand out. And I've got these channels to you. Who's the audience I want? And this works for B2B. This works for B2C. This is just human nature. Build out that channel. Provide content that really engages people so they stick around, because you can have on your channel an amazing one-hit wonder, do nothing else, and you'll go down well for that one-hit wonder. But in 3 months' time, nobody knows. So it is about a consistent level of content that's put out, because you've got a schedule to fill. And people don't like that. They say, I'd prefer quality over quantity. I was talking with somebody on Twitter about this. You can't have one or the other. You've got to have both. And quality is in the eye of the audience, not the eye of the creator. And you'll see there's a film that's just been shelved. They spent $100 million on it. I think it was Batwoman, the film. $100 million they spent on this Batwoman film. And then they put it in front of test audiences, and the test audiences didn't like it. So they canned the whole film. So who decides what's good content? The audience does. And you can make a good guess. You can make a really good guess, but ultimately they will vote and they will tell you by their response. So take what that of you will. But you are a media channel. You are a media personality. You have your own channels, and you need to use them to get the audience with the content and then put the adverts. Don't do it the other way around. I know I'll get adverts in and put a bit of content in every now and then. That's the wrong way of thinking. If you wanted to look at it more, how much content, actually 20% of your content should be promotional. 20%. People go, oh, no. 20%. There's nothing worse than watching a TV program, getting into it, and just being bombarded with adverts all the time. Like, I was going to swear then. It's annoying. So hopefully that's interesting, helpful. I've changed my setup a little bit. Somebody said to me, Dean, it looks a bit flat in the background. So I thought, well, I'll show you some of my massive science fiction addiction at the same time. So yeah, so this is my little new setup. I might make some more tweaks to it yet, but what do you think? Are you a media personality? Are you going to leverage that? Are you going to hide in obscurity? Are you going to design it from the beginning and go, what's the adverts that we're going to sell? What's we're going to sell? Okay, who's the audience for that? What content should I be creating? What should I be putting out to engage and inform that audience? Good morning, Ashley. How's sunny Exeter? It's pretty miserable here in Plymouth today. I was expecting thunder and rain that didn't come, but it looks like we've got it today, which is good because we've got hosepipe bands coming here, which seems really strange. That it just seems strange at the moment. We've got drought and now flood warnings, and I get the fact the ground's hard and everything. It's just really strange how we seem to be bouncing from like national crisis to national crisis. I don't know whether it's drama by the media that's stoking everybody up. One thing I do know is all of this wet Sidmouth. Yeah. What I do know is the last few years, I have to be careful what I say because certain words are not allowed on certain social media channels. It feels like we've had crisis after crisis after crisis. And some of those crises have been massively stoked up by the media. And I do worry, I really do worry that the media has such a responsibility to bring balance. And I'm not saying about bias here, but balance and fair. But what worries me is that media succeeds in its business goal when it gets lots of attention. And so they constantly have to have some major news story to talk about. One, because they're 24 hours, and two, because they need to get viewers and audience. And I do worry that some of these stories are being stoked. I'm not saying the stories aren't real, being stoked or over-reported that leaves people in a permanent state of anxiety. Yeah, we've got fuel prices are falling, which was great news. Only 8p, but fuel prices are falling. That was buried in people don't understand that their gas bills and electric bills are going to go up. They think it's not going to go up as much as it is. So, and then you've got, other things going on in the world. I just worry that news media, in their efforts for views and ratings and all that kind of stuff, that they over egg some stories or overrun them. And we are susceptible to media. We are susceptible to repetitive messages. This is the case whether you're marketing, media, anything. We're prone to believing things that we see more often. So if I churned out a message every day, all day, every week, guess what? People would start to remember that, and some people would start to believe that, whether it's true or not. And I just worry that the business model of news media constantly having some drama, needing some level of drama to report on, because for some reason we don't seem to like good news stories very much. It will massively damage people's mental health, because news media is also on social media, and it leaves people anxious all of the time. I do worry about that. I'm not saying, this slants, political bias. I'm not on about that. I'm on about, okay, there's a major problem, and it's like, oh, bang, doof, doof, breaking news now, and all of this stuff. And it's like leaving people with a heightened anxiety about their livelihoods, the future of the world, all of this stuff that ultimately is, I'm not a mental health professional, but it can't be good. It can't be good if people are living in permanent anxiety. And I've met a lot of people who feel that way, not feel like on edge a lot, like something terrible is going to happen all the time. And They stop watching the news, and it seems to ease. And I just worry about the opportunity of media is that human beings consume it. The danger is that if you just say something over and over again, or you add drama, drama and sensationalism to things, you get lots of attention. It's just the way it works. That's a little rant there. Anyway, I'm going to shut up because I've got nothing left to say. Guys, I really do appreciate you joining me so early in the morning. Ashley, I'm hoping some rain comes here because it was horrendous here yesterday. So the air was so dry. We need the rain just to break it all now. I never thought I'd be in a position where I would be talking about and hoping for rain in the United Kingdom, because most of the time we hope the rain goes away. But right now, it seems that's the way it is. So I do appreciate everybody who joins me on the lives, everybody who likes and comments and follows what I do. Really appreciate it. And if we're not connected on whatever channel, please come find me. I'm on all the main ones. But thank you so much. And I'll have a crack at this again tomorrow.